Hey guys, back with another video. The last video I did was on trying to make you guys as much aware of how much time is available to change whatever it is you're trying to change in your life. You know, whether that be a relationship or your finances or just beliefs, right? I mean, some people just, haven't challenged their beliefs. And that's okay, I know right now my beliefs, I challenge them all the time. I'm always trying to make sure, for one, is it the truth, right? I'll read other people's material that I don't even agree with just to see if, am I right or wrong, right? I don't want to hold beliefs that I can debunk, right? I spend a lot of time trying to make sure that the information that I'm gathering and the understanding that I have is based on truth. And I know through the rest of my life and my journey, there's going to be things that come up where I'm going to be changing beliefs, right? As science changes, right? Sugar used to be, they thought was okay for us. Then they found out it's not that okay for us. Like there's things, right? It's evolving. And so I just want to start this video off with I want you guys to really, I've always asked you to test me, but anyone you're reading, anyone you're watching, you don't want to, it's really what I see a lot of people doing. What I see a lot of people doing is they read a book or they hear a quote. They have no understanding of what is even being said. They have a tiny underlining understanding of what's being said, and they go around speaking that like it's knowledge and truth, right? I think it was Einstein, I'm pretty sure, said if you can't explain what you're trying to explain to a third grader so that they can understand it completely, you don't understand what you're explaining very well, right? And so that's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to get better at explaining and breaking everything down to the bare minimum. So anyways, with all of that said, I just wanted to throw that out there. This is going to be a part 2 of the last video I did on time and managing activities with all the extra time that you have. And it's not really, that video is irrelevant if you don't do anything with any of your time, right? If you read a whole bunch of really good books and became extremely knowledgeable in a whole bunch of truths, but never said anything to anyone, that there's no point in it, right? If you know you have all of this time to change your life, but you don't take the time to do it or become aware of things that you can do to implement, to change and become whoever you want to be or change the things that you're working on, then it's really, right? You might as well not even know that you have a bunch of extra time. So I just wrote down a few things that really, to me, it's an unfair advantage. Right. And so I want to make you aware of the main things that I do that give me the confidence and the belief that I can do whatever I want. Right. One is God. Right. And if you don't like that term, put another term in there. Call it whatever you want. But I call it God. And what I'm trying to say is we hear all of these sayings. Right? At least I have, and I've heard them since I can remember, right? And the point is, if you don't, right? When you hear something one time and you're like, wow, that's a good idea, or wow, that's really powerful, but then you don't do anything with it, that was an advantage that you didn't take advantage of, right? So all of these, all the things that I'm learning when I'm reading the Bible, I act on them. I don't just read them and be like, wow, that's really cool. I take action on them and they become a deep-rooted belief in me, which helps me walk right through the terror barrier when I'm trying to take action or call someone that I need to call or negotiating on something or working on the business or helping a friend out or a family member that's going through a hard time, right? It's not always easy to help people when they don't want help, right? I don't want to get off on a rant, but that's a whole nother avenue of how do you help someone who doesn't want help but is asking for help, right? And I don't know if you've ever dealt with someone like that in your family, but it can be exhausting, and so God. Second thing I do that I've asked you guys to do is turn your car or truck into an information center. Turn the radio off. I spend 4 to 10 hours a week minimum in my truck, and all I do is devour information the whole time. It's a huge advantage, because while everyone else is listening to the radio, or everyone else is having a conversation with someone, or everyone else is pondering off on all the worry and doubt and fear that they have, I'm not. You start compounding a year, 2 years, 3 years of doing that, 4 to 10 hours every day. You can't, right? So turning your car or truck into an information center. What do I mean? Turn the radio off, turn on an amazing videos and audiobooks, podcasts on topics that you're trying to change. And I never watch anything once unless I didn't get any value out of it. Then I don't watch it again. Anything I get value on, I watch multiple times, over and over and over and over and over and over and over, because I really want to understand what they are saying. Right? You miss too much the first time. You miss too much the second time, the third time, fifth time. It takes a lot of times of listening to it to not wander off on a thought trip and missing a very important part. Same thing when you're reading a book, right? You'll be reading along and you'll go off on a thought trip, but you're still reading, but you're not really even looking or paying attention to what you're reading. You're off on a thought trip thinking about some future thing or some past something. And then you'll reel it back in and be a paragraph or 2 or 3 sentences, right? That might have been the most important sentence in that whole paragraph, right? So you have to read that paragraph, if it's really good, every day for 90 days to get a true understanding, right? I know that's a lot. In that, there's another advantage. People just won't do that. Most people will not do that. So I already have an advantage. And it's not that I want an advantage, but I want to be really good at what I do, and I want to help lots of people. And it's a super simple formula to do that. You have to obsess over other people's problems more than they do. Figure out solutions to other people's problems, right? I have hobbies. I love fishing, right? That's my hobby. That's my passion. That's my love. My next best thing is helping other people that I've turned into a business, right? I looked at the marketplace. What is needed that has value that people will pay for? Information, knowledge, shortcuts, understandings, awareness, tools to work through problems, ways to get around obstacles, right? I think a lot of business models, there's 30 million businesses in the United States, 5,477 of them. 5,477 of the 30 million businesses in the United States produce 50% of the revenue. That leaves 29,400 and whatever thousand businesses that have to fight over the other 50%. I really need you to let that sink in. You might have to watch it a couple of times, right? I look at the marketplace. What is needed? There's data showing, right? I mean, if 30 million people spend as much as I do on personal development and growth and learning, there's a huge market, right? So that's another thing I want you guys to be paying attention to as you start to create businesses, which you should be doing this year, or at least into next year. You need to be looking at that kind of stuff. I'll do another video and break all that down more, but you really need to look at the marketplace, and you have to look at reality. Fidget spinners are cool. Trinkets are cool. There's a lot of cool things, but are they supported in the marketplace long-term scalable, right? So I don't want to get off topic here, but I really want you guys to start thinking about that now that we're 9 months in, right? We got 3 more months to go before the end of this year. You really should be clipping along now if you've been watching me the whole time. So another thing, the 3%, I talk about it all the time. Just making a 3% committed decision is an advantage. You're making a 3% committed decision that you're going to do something. And a decision in my mind is you cut off completely. There is no exit strategy. I'm doing this, sink or swim, till I die. There's no plan B. There's no, well, if this doesn't work, I have this backup plan, right? That's not a committed decision. And I think a lot of people, that's what they do. They want to try things, right? Me and Blake learned try is a bad word. We're either doing it or we make a decision we're not doing it. We don't try things. So that takes an understanding and looking at it and pondering on it and talking about it and thinking about it, right? And making a real committed decision. Are we doing this thing or are we not? 1 hour a day, right? I've been saying this since the very beginning. I like all these things. You make a committed decision, you're going to study and learn and grow and transform your life 1 hour a day. That is a huge advantage. End of the year, you're in the top 3%. Now, you don't have instant gratification. Your bank account, your friendships, all these things aren't going to immediately change, but you're going to start feeling better. You're going to start looking better. You're going to start being more happy. You're going to start being orderly. You're going to start feeling a lot better and doing things and understanding and communicating better and networking with different types of people. And everything starts with this hour a day and making that a habit. Then we're going to go on to, the law of 100. Right? I tell you guys all of these things because these are all advantages. If you just picked one of these things and implemented it, you raise yourself into the top 3%. Health, wealth, love, or happiness. Whichever area you're trying to improve, pick one of those, whichever one it is for you, and start devouring an hour a day, right? Within a year or two, you become one of the top people in the world in that industry. You just have so much knowledge because you put in so many hours in, right? You have to master things, right? I play guitar. Now, I'm not a master yet, but I'm working towards it. But I try to get really good at one thing at a time, whether it's my picking hand or my fret hand or notes or scales or learning the fretboard, right? You pick one thing, timing, reading music, whatever it is that you're trying to do, and you try to master that one thing. I think this is a big problem with most people, right? Look at sports athletes. By the time they become a professional, they've mastered every part of the game. Whether it's basketball, dribbling, shooting, passing, being a teammate, working under pressure, right? They had to master all of these things, right? You can be the best shooter in the world, but if you don't know how to dribble, you can't really be in a game, right? You have to master all of these little things and kind of compound them on top of each other. And that takes some time, right? But as I pointed out, you have plenty of time. Next thing I really want to talk about is just none of these advantages do anything if we don't apply them. I promise you, if you will read good books, if you'll watch my videos, if you'll make a committed decision to study for an hour a day, your life will change. Now you compound that with my journal. New Paradigm 90-Day Challenge. You do 4 of those in a year. It's $20 times 4. It's $80. Teaches you how to create habits. Teaches you how powerful repetition is. Everything you have is through repetition. Over and 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 over, right? That's how you program yourself. Or that's how you change a belief. Or that's how you have an understanding. That's how you change your awareness. That's how you build muscle. That's how you have everything you do is through repetition. Your whole life will change. The difference between, and this is just my own personal opinion, the difference between professionals and amateurs is professionals spend about 5 to 10 hours preparing for every hour that they have to do something. They're spending 5 to 10 times as much time preparing to be wonderful at the hour that they're going to use to explain something or portray something or put on a presentation or whatever it is they're doing, or playing a game, or they're a professional athlete, or whatever it is, or they're in a rock band or whatever. They spend 5 to 10 times as much time practicing as they do at showtime. And what it does is you don't have to have, you're not consciously involved in what's going on. It's unconscious. You've done it so many times, you don't have to be paying attention to what you're saying or how you're thinking or none of that. If you were in a band and you never practiced and you were just going on tour, it would show, you'd be exposed, right? So you really want to work on this 5 to 10 times as much practicing whatever it is you're trying to do live. So I'm going to do some more videos. I hope you guys find value in this. Please like and subscribe. Please leave questions. We're working on some stuff. It should be coming out, I'm hoping next week. I might have jumped the gun on that, but it is happening. We're starting some VIP stuff. We're starting some courses. We got the day trading thing, I think, figured out. Mind blowing. Blake's a master day trader. We've been documenting for a year. He's been doing it for 7 years now. Phenomenal. I mean, astronomical. When I hear people say, oh, I got a 10%, 20% return this year, he's getting 80 to 100. You guys, it's game changing. Like, I want you guys to learn this skill if that's something you're interested in, because it is a vital skill, right? You can quit your job. You can be doing this. We're going to teach you step by step how he does it. We have documentation. We're going to be building videos and a course. It's just, there's some legal things that I know God's going to give me enough knowledge to figure that part out. I'm not going to let that hold us back from sharing this with you guys. So thank you guys. Have a great day. Bye.